Hey guys, Scott here from scottsweb.dev. Today I wanted to talk to you about plugins, and none specifically, but just generally as a concept. I firmly believe that when it comes to WordPress plugins, less is better, and let me tell you why. It's enticing to see a bunch of plugins that offer you new functionality that you didn't have, and you can, activate them with just a couple clicks, and you have a new section to your website. Like, I get the appeal of it, but in reality, there's a lot of issues that pop up when you start adding a bunch of plugins. If we take a look at the back end of my website, I only have 5 plugins. And really, I feel like that's too many. But when you introduce plugins to your site, it's actual code. There's nothing magic that happens. It's code files in the back end, and you don't know who wrote those code files. Um, it could be bad code, like they didn't prefix their variable names so that there's no clashing of variables, or it could be really slow code. It could slow your website down. You just don't know what type of code you're going to get. So that's reason number one. And reason number two is it creates compatibility issues. If you have a bunch of plugins, there could be issues on your website where code from one plugin doesn't run nicely with the code from a different plugin, and they clashed with each other. That's why one of the troubleshooting tips on a lot of plugins is to deactivate other plugins one by one until the issue resolves itself. And a lot of times that works because the plugins are just clashing with each other. Another reason is page speed. Like, your website could slow down if a plugin adds a lot of overhead to your website. If you have a plugin that should just go in the back end, there's no reason it should be loading like JavaScript or anything on the front end. So make sure that if you get a plugin that it's lightweight, it does what you want it to do, and it doesn't add a lot of overhead. A lot of times, just by editing our theme ourselves, we can get what we need without the additional overhead of a plugin. Another reason you don't want too many plugins is because they update. I know that sounds like a good thing, but if your website is currently working 100% and then a plugin auto updates and it breaks your website or becomes incompatible with another plugin, well, your website is down for who knows how long until you can get in there and take a bunch of time to diagnose the problem. So there really are a lot of reasons to keep your website light on plugins. And I'm not saying don't use plugins. Plugins are great. They're a great reason a lot of people come to WordPress. Just make sure that the plugin that you're using does what you want it to do and that it's compatible with your other plugins. I would probably turn off auto updates so that you can update yourself on like a staging environment and make sure everything's okay. Um, yeah, there's just so many reasons not to use a lot of plugins. I think I would give general advice of going towards the most popular plugins just because they're going to be more well tested, more well used in a lot of use cases. I'm not saying don't try new plugins. There are some gems out there, and I might even create a plugin myself that has like 25 downloads that I would want you to use. So definitely try new plugins. Just make sure that you're safe when doing so. And as I was setting up my blog, I was setting up a page about plugins and trying to think about what I would recommend or just the general concept around plugins. And I've come to the conclusion a long time ago, really, that less is more. Um, a lot of these plugins add functionality that are just a few lines of code that I can teach you how to do, from my scottsweb.dev website. You can find publicly on Google. You don't need plugins for everything. There are some cases, like if you're using WooCommerce and you need, I don't know, shipping zip codes or whatever, that you have to use plugins to get that data. And I understand that. I'm just saying evaluate your plugins carefully and do what you can yourself before using a plugin. Um, Let me know what you think. If you've had any bad experiences or good experiences, I'm eager to hear all sides of the story here. So let me know your experiences, and I'm putting together some more pages on my website, so I will link to those soon. More how-to videos coming. If you like my channel, please consider subscribing. That's it. We'll see you in the next video.